Hello, I'm Sophia.
And hey, I'm Kristin, and we are
Under the Barbell.
Over the Bullshit.
And we're a podcast for women who are sick of being told to just eat less, move more, and what they really want is to get strong, take up space, feel confident, and age well.
That's what we're all about, empowering women to live for more than a before and after photo.
So, wherever you are, grab a coffee or a pre-workout and hit play, because your anti-diet culture BFFs have arrived. You-Bob fam!
Hey, welcome, You-Bobbers!
Hello, hello. Hey, hi, hello. How's it going today?
We're going good. Doing our thing. What do you got going on? Are you eating?
I am.
Can y'all hear Sophia chewing the microphone?
So one of my favorite snackies is cheese and grapes. So good.
Oh, I love cheese and grapes. But right before we got on, I like those, those like little snack pack things that'll have like cheese in them and nuts and whatever. And they're by Sargento, and it's white cheddar cheese with cashews and then raisins. And it is like, I will take like a little bit of each of those and eat them all in one bite, like something that's salty with the cheese. And yeah, I love it. I love those together.
All in one bite. It's the best. So good. So good. So when this comes out, when this episode releases, it will be right after me and Kiana go on our 2-year anniversary. And we're going to Glacier National Park.
Hell yeah. That's going to be great.
Tent in it. We love to camp. So we're going
in a tent?
Uh-huh.
Oh, y'all are way more badass than I'll ever be. You won't catch me in a tent anytime soon.
So excited. So excited.
How long are you going to be there?
We're going to leave the 23rd, and then we're going to come back. Let's see. Our plan was to come back the 29th, I think. But Kiana forgot that her mom's 50th birthday is that same weekend, like when we come back. And so it actually works out because we're going to go most of the time. So we're just going to come back like a day early, and we're going to hopefully surprise her for her birthday. Yeah. So we'll see. We're going to have to figure out trying to turn our locations off, because I know like Kiana has her location on, and so her mom checks it. So we need to figure that out, but we're gonna try and surprise her, because we told her, we're like, sorry, like we can't come because we booked the trip. We have the camping, and yeah, so we'll see how that goes, but we'll update. I'll update once we do our next episode.
Yeah, hopefully you can get around the location thing. That definitely makes things tricky. Like I've run into that myself. It's like, not trying to do anything deceitful. I'm trying to do something nice and something good, and I want to surprise you, but it's not very surprising when you can see exactly where I am all the time.
Yes.
Oh, that'll be awesome. I can't wait. We'll hear about that in the next.
I'm excited. But also, so we talked to you about Strongman a little bit, and Kiana is trying to, she wants to get into Strongman, and she wants to do a competition hopefully in either February or next year sometime.
Awesome.
So the gym that we go to put on a Strongman competition last weekend. So now it would be like a few weekends ago. But this guy, who I've actually known for quite some time, just because we've known each other over the years from wellness center, other gyms, things like that. And this was I think he's a power lifter, and this was his first Strongman competition. So I don't know how he trained or anything like that, but the log.
Yeah.
He went to do the log, because first it was the medley one. So it was, I can't remember the first one. And then it was the log press, and then it was the yoke. Well, he goes up to the log and he cleans it up, and then he starts to push it overhead, but then he can't get it up, and then he kind of stumbles his foot and the log falls and he falls. And then we see a cut, so the edge of the log hit right just above knee. And I could kind of see it from afar, but kind of not. But it was to the bone, and through tendons and things. And we later overheard one girl that was helping him, that I think she must have been a nurse or something, had said that he maybe got lucky because it looked like it didn't slice the patellar tendon, I guess, possibly. And so ambulance came. He went to the ER. There was no blood, which was weird. I thought you would see blood all over, but but it was just sliced to the bone. And Yeah, I felt bad, like, it was horrible, and,
Oh my god.
yeah, first competition, first event,
Oh, the poor guy.
yeah, I was like, "Ouch." So anyone that went after that, I, like, had anxiety for them. I'm
For
like
sure.
and they had a spotter behind him, but he wasn't a big guy, and I think that he just didn't expect it to happen, and so
Should
after that,
know.
there was a couple spotters, bigger guys around people,
Oh
and
my
so, yeah.
god.
Anyways, that was our weekend
Oh,
a couple weekends ago now.
I hate that. That's
Yeah.
freaking
So
horrible.
then yeah, I'm like, "Kiana, better train
Yeah.
for this and make sure you don't do that."
Yeah, be careful. I wonder how the hell I mean, just the logs. So I'm a power lifter. That's I've talked about that. And at one point, like I guess now probably 4-ish years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, I am about four. I had a moment where I was like, I think I want to take a break from powerlifting and maybe I want to try strongman because my thought was doing these different movements would strengthen me in like other movement patterns in other directions. It would make me ultimately a stronger power lifter, a more well-rounded athlete, basically, is what I was thinking. And so I did spend about a month. One of my fellow coaches at the gym where I was at the time, he coached strongman. And so he would help me. He taught me like the log and stuff like that. So I was doing that kind of stuff and it's just not for me. It's just I think what it is, I think had I never done powerlifting, maybe I would be totally fine with it. But
Yeah,
powerlifting is so structured and it's like you have to lift it exactly this way and you have to follow these commands from a judge and there's like everything is very consistent athlete to athlete. But then you get to strongman and it's like I don't give a shit what you have to do, just get it up. Like it's just like just
that's
get the
true.
weight where it needs to go and that freaks me out. Like I it makes me very uncomfortable moving my body in all these, like, weird ways that I'm like, "I'm gonna tweak something, I'm gonna hurt something." I am not very young at this point. Like, I'm at the age where it's like, you really kinda have to be careful with your body?
Yeah, mhm.
And so I was like, "You know what? Maybe this isn't for me." Back to powerlifting I go. And,
At least you
so
tried
there
it.
I am. But the log that I used, though, when I was learning that, I can't even imagine anywhere on there that would have been able to cut like that. Like, I wonder what the
So,
heck.
yeah, okay, so like, the handles, how it's all, like, cut out and then the handles are
Yeah.
in there? It was the edge of that
Oh, what the hell? Really?
yeah, that's where it hit him.
That's
That's where it
so
sliced.
weird. Oh my gosh. Like, man, that's truly the worst. Truly.
Yeah,
Like, in powerlifting meets, sometimes you'll have somebody go down or whatever. And it's just like, it's so hard to recover from. Like, for everyone else, like, obviously the person that it happened to, but even
yeah.
after seeing something like that is so difficult to, like,
Get in your
get
head then,
past,
yeah.
you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awful. I hope
exactly.
he's heals
I know.
well, and I hope
I think
he
he's doing okay, like, he has a s he's in the military too, and he's very, like, I think the mentality of, like, "I'm gonna come back even better," like, it is what it
Yeah,
is, but I'm gonna come back even better. Like, it sucks, obviously, but
yeah.
yeah, so,
Man.
um,
Oh, bless
yeah.
him.
The other thing I
Well
wanted to say quick was so I had a client this morning, and one of the things that so we sometimes she'll, like, bring up, like, different wins that she has
mhm.
that she notices because 'cause it's been over a year now that we've been working together, and she's no longer focuses on the number on the scale, it's more of, like, data, like, she wants to be stronger and just, like, feel powerful,
Yeah.
and, every now and then, she'll tell me things that she notices, and today it occurred to her while she was doing bicep curls, and she, like, she has the weights that are big and bulky, like, they can
Oh,
be
yeah.
adjusted. So they're
Mhm.
just, like, bigger and bulky, and oh, wait, no, she had 15 pounds. Well, anyways, we were doing hammer curls, and she had hit her shoulder with the dumbbell part, and this is what triggered this thought was that, because afterwards, I could tell she was in, like, deep thought of something, and she told me that it just reminded her of when she was a couple years ago before we had started this journey, before she had tried losing weight and all of that, she would bruise super easily. Like
Hmm.
she would sit down and then have a bruise. Like it's like, but she had no idea what that was from. And then the other thing was that when she would go walking, she would get super itchy. And when she looked it up, it was like something with blood flow, like, the
Mhm.
capillaries, like, are not used to having that energy, and so when you're that sedentary, so when she would go walking, it was like all of them, all of a sudden, like, just needed that energy, and they kinda bursted open, and so that creates the itch, and she was like, "I haven't." All of that happened every time, like, once a month probably at least, and so she's like, "It occurs to me that that hasn't happened in like a year, couple years now." So it's just crazy like that is
Yeah.
a win, and she was so excited about it that she doesn't bruise easily anymore,
Yep.
and she doesn't get itchy when she walks. Like,
Yeah.
who would have thought that that would be a
That
win or
is
progress, you know?
awesome.
Yeah.
Non-scale victories for the win, man.
Yeah,
That's the
and then when
kinda
you
shit.
notice it, yeah,
Yeah,
notice
that's
it
what we need
randomly
to be
like that,
looking for.
yeah,
That's what
mhm,
keeps you going, you know? Like, that's the shit that it's like, "Oh my god." Like, when you feel like nothing is happening and then that kinda stuff occurs to you, you're like, "Oh, something is happening, like, this is great." Like,
yep,
yeah, we're gonna keep going. I love that.
yep,
And actually, in once we get into the topic today, I'm probably gonna come back to that story because I have, um, some thoughts around that as in
nice,
well, along with our topic too.
awesome.
So my thing is will be pretty quick, and for anyone who listened to, I want to say it was like our very first episode, maybe our first or second episode, I don't remember. Sophia talked about this movie that she watched about this
Oh, yeah.
godforsaken tornado. And I was like, I was like, no, like it was about the Joplin tornado. I think it was it Netflix. I think it's Netflix.
Yeah,
And I was like, "No, like, I can't watch that." Like, where I live here in Tennessee, more and more and more, we're getting tornadoes and, like, devastating type tornadoes too, like, tornadoes that are taking shit out, not just, spin ups or whatever. And I was like, "I can't watch that, like, that's gonna scare me, like, that's too much, like, real life for me, I can't do it." So, the other day, I was sitting there, I'm like, "I need to watch something." And so I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna go ahead." I told Sophia that I would watch this after she told us all about like the guy that got pulled up into the tornado and all this. And I'm like, okay, I'm a little intrigued. I need to go ahead and watch this. And I am like halfway through this movie show, whatever you want to call it. I guess it was a movie. Um, what the fuck, Sophia? Like, y'all, I got about halfway through and I texted her and all I said was, "I am watching this freaking tornado movie and I hate you now." Like
yeah.
that even
I
my
remember that getting
husband
out, started laughing.
my husband came in, he was in his office doing something, and then he came in partway through and he was like, "What the hell is this?" And I'm like, "It's this
It's
stupid
intense.
tornado that Sophia said we needed to watch, or a tornado movie that Sophia said we needed to watch." Listen, like, and I told my husband yesterday, I was like, "I think I'm gonna bring up that I watched the tornado movie that she suggested." And he was like, "Oh yeah, you need to tell her about that. That was no good. No good. No." He's like, "No, that was oh my god, y'all."
It's intense,
It
yeah,
was
it's
super intense, and I didn't anticipate, like, all of the actual footage,
mhm. Oh, yeah,
like, these especially 'cause it followed, like, these high school kids that just graduated, and they all, as the youngins these days do, they're recording everything constantly all the time, and, so there's a lot of literal footage of the tornado hitting the building that they're in and the what like and we
being in
so
it, yeah.
in 2020 there was a really bad huge tornado that hit Nashville right before everything went down with COVID. It happened March the 3rd, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, something that I can't believe I don't remember. It might have been March 4th actually. And then everything with COVID, everything shut down like mid-March. So this happened right before the world shut down for COVID. And it was huge. I can't remember. I might be completely making this number up, but this thing went for I want to say it was like 80 miles. Like it went through our city and kept
Holy
going
shit.
through like multiple. It was horrible and it was awful. And there's still things that are being cleaned up from it even 5 years later. And it went right past our house. And so we that day we all the alarms went off and whatever. And my husband and I got in the closet. He went and got our son. I got the dogs, and we went and we're in our closet, which is like our designated safe space. And there's some guys that are on social media. They're on like Twitter and on Threads, which I listen to on Threads because Twitter's trash. And um, I went to their site, and so anytime there's a warning, like they're weather guys, but they're not like with a news station. Like they are non like they live basically off of not live, like I'm sure they probably have other jobs or whatever, but we get like donations and shit from the community. And they're very cool because like they're not like the crazy news people that are like fear mongering and stuff just for ratings and whatever. And they're very matter of fact and they're funny too on top of it. And so we always go right to their site and they always will go live on YouTube anytime there's a warning. So we get in the closet, we go to their YouTube page to see what's going on. And they're like, this tornado is on the ground. Everybody seek shelter now. Like, this is not because sometimes the alert sirens will all go off and it's nowhere near you. And they're like the city in general, everybody, like, get to your safe space now. This is no joke. It is currently hitting things. It's telling you like the trajectory of it was coming straight the hell at us.
Oh,
And
fuck.
so it's coming through and it says it's like, it's right by Summit Hospital, and Summit Hospital is literally like a half a mile right there. Like I that's where I did a lot of my cancer treatment and stuff, and it takes me 4 minutes to drive there. That's how close it is. And so they're like, it's heading to Summit Hospital. And we were like, oh my God. Well, next thing we know, all the power, everything goes out. And I just got like abnormally high heart rate alert on my watch as I'm talking about this. Like,
Jesus.
and so all the power, everything goes out, and then you hear them say it's now approaching blah 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 road, which was our road. Like they literally said our street name.
Oh my
And
god.
I looked at my husband and he looked at me, and me, like it's like communication that you don't say out loud because my son was there and he's young. He was like 11 at the time.
Yeah.
And so like we just knew, and he grabbed our son. I had the dogs on my lap. I kind of grabbed them and he put his other arm around me and we just went down. And I'm like, it was that moment where you're like, it's gonna hit. Here it comes, here it comes, here it comes. We heard it. And when they say it sounds like a freight train, they are not kidding. We heard it and we both heard it and we both went like, this is the moment. This is it. Like, we're either gonna live through this or we're not. And then next thing we know, we hear the guys on my phone on YouTube say, and that it's now entered Wilson County, which is the county right past us. Like half of my road is Wilson County and half of it is Davidson County. And it says it's now entered Wilson County, which means it had gone past us. And we just stopped and we just looked at each other and we were like, are we are we alive? Like, what the hell just happened?
Oh, that'd be so
And
fucking
it
scary.
was the scariest moment of my life, truly. Like, to hear it the way we heard it and to know it was so close. And what ended up coming then this is the middle of the night. It was like midnight, 1 in the morning, something like that. We had no power. Wake up the next day, like you couldn't even get up and down our street. Like trees were crossed over our street. People, like neighbors, are out there with chainsaws just so ambulances and emergency vehicles could get through. And it was like the craziest time. I couldn't, had COVID not happened, that would have been the craziest time of my life. We didn't have
Holy
power for like
shit.
a week. So we were like living out of the cooler and grilling our food and candlelight dinners every day and charging our phones and with our car, using starting up the car. But we couldn't even get out of our own driveway because our road was so backed up because nobody
Oh
could,
my
it was just
god.
gridlock. No one could go anywhere.
Did you have
And
damage to your house? Like, was there
we
any
didn't, but literally right down the road. Like it just went through.
Oh, that's
And
wild.
even I have a video too, the president the president did a flyover. I mean, I don't have to like the guy, but it's still kind of cool that not cool, like, because it's for a bad reason, but like they were like surveilling the damage. And so they literally, I have video standing in my front yard of like the presidential helicopter and all the other ones around it, like going across, surveying all the damage. Like it literally went right over my house.
Oh my god.
It was that close. And I mean, it
Dude.
was just, yeah, it was
Holy shit.
crazy. And what's really wild is in like how tornadoes kind of turn and jump and whatever the hell they do. It was our garbage night. So we had shit, sorry, I hit it again with my phone. I gotta stop hitting this microphone. Can you hear it when that happens?
Oh, yeah, I heard that.
Damn it, sorry. Because it was
Okay.
something plastic too that hit it,
Yeah.
not just my hand. Sorry. But we had our trash can out because it was garbage night. Like that next day morning, the garbage truck would have come, and not even our garbage can was knocked over. So it was so crazy to me that not even our
What?
garbage can got knocked over, but these houses are gone. Like, it was
That's
I
insane.
I can't explain it, but it was the wildest time of my
Oh my
life.
god.
Yeah, and then I go and watch this damn movie.
Sure brings back a lot of, memories,
Oh
emotions.
my god. I was like,
Uh,
"Okay." I mean, and it was a really fascinating story, and, like, just hearing the people talking and, like, their memories and their, whatever. It is very fascinating, but I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm good. I don't need to watch any more tornado movies. I'm fine. We're solid. I've lived it. I don't need to." Yeah, no, we're good.
Holy cow, yeah,
So,
that's
anyway,
scary.
yeah. So, that's my story. That's my bullshit for this
What does your
episode.
shirt say?
Oh, my shirt today. I think you can actually see it mostly. So it says
Feminism?
feminism, the radical idea that women are people.
No, the radical notion
Oh,
that women
sorry,
are
notion.
people,
My
but
bad. I'm
yes,
reading
the
upside
radical
down. The radical notion. Thanks for being able to read, even though I can't. The radical notion that women are people. Who knew?
Yep. Yeah.
I feel like feminism in general gets very misunderstood. They assume we're like man haters or whatever. We don't. Big fan of men. Love them as long as they're not jerks. I've been married to
Yes.
one for a really long time. And it's really just, we're just humans and we just want to have all the things that humans have in the way of rights. That's all.
Yes. Yes. Oh, okay, so speaking of that, me and Kiana were talking about this, and then I saw something, of course, like, on Facebook or Instagram, and it came up because it was someone on TikTok talking about it, how so when they passed, like, the gay marriage rights, whatever, I guess there was
Hmm.
someone who didn't allow someone a couple to be married on religious ground, and then
Kentucky.
she went to jail for so long,
Hmm.
whatever, and now she's, like, suing and wanting so now they're, like, taking another look at gay marriage and trying to overturn that. And then
Yeah.
in this TikTok video, this person like had partnered with a lawyer, and then like they're providing there, but there's like documents out, I guess, that we can like look at in doing different like making sure that our it's like a partnership then that a partnership is in place in case something were to happen. So I'm
Oh,
like, fuck,
right.
that was like, do we need to start looking into that? Do we need to like consider this? I don't know. I feel like it's not gonna happen, but like I don't know. Anything can happen.
Honestly, I definitely very much might just be paranoid, but I would do it personally.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, like I've never traveled abroad at all. Like I've been to Mexico and Canada, which now you need a passport, but when I went, you did not need a passport for it. So I didn't have a passport. And when a lot of this nonsense about women not being able to vote if their birth certificate name did not match their driver's license name started coming out from Project 2025, the first thing I did was go get a passport because the only thing that according to Project 2025 that women will be allowed to use to vote if their married name is different than what's on their birth certificate is a passport. So I was like, I'm not fucking around. I'm just gonna it's not gonna hurt me. I should have a passport anyway. It doesn't hurt me at all to get a passport and just be prepared. So,
Yeah.
like, I personally, if it's not going to change anything or do anything, I personally would just do it because there is no telling what this cuckoo cuckoo nonsense in the United States
Yeah.
government can do right now.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't trust that the economy is going to stay well for a long time. We've started stockpiling food. I might be crazy, but yeah, and it's
I love
basic
that.
basic shit that we use all the time anyway, but when it's on sale, I buy more than I normally would buy, and it's actually on the shelf. I'm looking at it right now. It's on the shelf right behind my desk. And so we just, canned foods, whatever, like things that I know I can make a lot of things out of because I mean, let's face it, I have a job that is very like it's one of the first things to go when people need money.
That's true.
And
Mhm.
so I was like, you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
And it's food that we eat all the time anyway. And so,
Yeah.
and we still eat it, like we cycle through it, it's still stuff we eat, but I always make sure to have extra. And so, like, when I go to the store, if I go to like Aldi, do y'all have Aldi there?
Yes.
Okay, so Aldi especially, like I go there and I'll just grab a few extra cans of things while I'm there. Like it's nothing much. It's not like I have like months and months worth of food or anything. But it's
Yeah.
I'll just buy a few extra things, some like canned chicken, like especially protein just because we are who we are. And so
Yeah.
like, protein, like you ever eat those chicken? It's kind of like tuna, the tuna packets, but it's actually
Yes.
chicken. It's like seasoned, whatever. So like I'll just grab a few of those when I'm at Walmart because they're like a buck 25 or something. So I'll just
Mhm.
grab it. It's like it's not that big of a deal financially, and it's stuff that we'll eat anyway. But yeah, yeah,
Mm.
so, like, I definitely might just be, like, too far towards the paranoid side. However, when shit goes down,
I know, you're
guess
yep,
what?
yes, you'll be able
Yes.
to talk, be like,
Yep.
"So, basically, either Kiana, we need to start doing that, or we if shit hits the fan, we're coming to you."
Yeah,
So
just come on, well, you don't know where I well, yeah, you might know where I live now because I mailed you something and my return address is on
oh,
it.
yeah, that's right,
Uh,
yeah.
so you know where I live, come on down, we may or may not still have a stockpile by that point.
That's you should send
But
me a picture of that, I wanna see it.
yeah, it's really not very much, but yeah,
Oh,
it's just like I said, and I mean over time it might become more just because I do buy a little bit extra here and there, but it's just
yeah,
stuff that we use, so we do go through it and it dwindles down and then I'll buy more things and just put in there. But I'm
yeah.
like, honestly too, like the tornado story I just told, we were trapped in our house for a week. Like, wha if you don't have
Mhm,
stuff, like, what do you do? I mean, look at
right.
what happened with toilet paper and COVID, you know? Like, you
I
never
know,
know, you just never know. So
that's
that's
true.
actually a thing too, like, if toilet paper or paper towels go on sale super cheap, I just grab some extras and throw them up there. Because you just never
That's a good
know,
idea.
you know?
Yeah,
And it's,
mhm.
I think it's just good in general. Like, after the tornado thing, we actually bought a, cast iron pot because we do have a fireplace in the house. So I'm like, if we need it, we can just
Oh,
boil
nice. Yeah,
water and, heat things and whatever in the fireplace if we had to in the cast iron pot. So
yeah.
that's like one of those. And my husband is probably a little bit paranoid too, more so than me. I think he's probably made me the way I am a little bit, but he used to work security in Vegas. He worked casino security for 10 years.
Mm,
And
mhm.
so he has seen some shit. So like we are out in public and he's like always just like looking around everywhere and watching everything. I'm like, can we just enjoy? But like we go downtown Nashville and he's like constantly just looking all
Oh,
around
yeah,
everywhere. Like he's always in
yeah,
that mode, even though it's been, well over a decade since he's
that
done it.
makes
But
sense though, yeah.
he yeah. Yeah. So
Oh,
anyway,
damn.
now y'all know way more about me than you probably need to. You probably think I'm a total Looney Tune, but
But
that's
I think it's a
okay.
good literally, that you never know, and just to, like I think the
Mhm.
way you do it is smart, like, just to get something at, like, a little bit
Yeah.
every time or whatever,
Mhm.
like, I mean, there are preppers out there who, like, have a
Yes. Yeah,
whole
we're not those crazy
underground
people.
thing, and
No.
yeah.
I just
So,
have like
and
a shelf.
yeah. But yeah, you never know what's gonna
You
happen,
never
whether it's
know.
weather even, you're like, yeah, and you're
Yeah.
stuck or you're in your home, like,
Mhm.
it'd just be nice to have stuff, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
the tornado situation really changed us, and then COVID further changed us, and
Yeah.
then the political climate even further changes us. So all that to say is if it were me and if it's not gonna, cost a lot of money, if it's not gonna matter too much if you don't need it, then I would personally do it just because
Yeah.
I don't trust anything right now.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
all right.
Well, on that note,
Well,
30
on that
minutes
note,
in.
yeah. And I said when I started, I was like, "Oh, mine's really quick."
Yeah,
Just kidding.
mine's really quick.
I took my medicine today too, and
Funny.
I've even upped my dose. I'm all the way up to the and a full and an extra full dose today, and I'm still just rambling. So maybe there's just no hope for me. But anyway, we're going to talk today about how to get started with I don't know if want to call it lifting, strength training, whatever word you want to use for it, because then maybe it's not always necessarily lifting, but it is strength training, I guess, when we
Yeah.
talk about body weight stuff and whatever. But just our thoughts and ideas on how to get started for anybody out there who wants to do it but doesn't really know how to go about it. Hopefully, this will help.
Yes, and the other thing is that this is something you can always fall back on. Like, some of the things that we talk about, I use it
Yeah.
when I am maybe, like, on vacation and I'm only gonna work out once in the week, or I don't know what I'm gonna do and I'm gonna work out 2 or 3 times during the week, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
we'll talk about that, but, like, I even use this. So it's a piece of your foundation that you can always fall back on
Yes.
no matter what level you're at.
Yeah.
I've been
That's
working
a
out years,
great point.
my entire life. Yeah, so I always fall back
Yeah.
on this.
Yeah, even, like, possible injuries, things like that, when you
Yep.
get, and I mean, about you had your hamstring and whatever, like, these
Mhm.
principles are things that you fall back on, and that's where you start again to build back up and into doing what you were doing. A lot of it I used when I was in cancer treatment because I couldn't lift more than 10 pounds for a very long time with my upper body. And so I had to fall back on some of these things and get creative with it just to keep my body moving. So that's a good point.
And, the other thing I was gonna say what was I gonna say? It's gone. I forgot.
It's gone. Maybe it'll come back.
I hate that. I hate when that happens. Yeah. I
um,
don't know. Oh, well, that's okay.
well, one of the things that I like to have people start with, and this is everybody, not just people that are like totally new to it, but anyone, even people that come to me experienced. I like to talk to people about just their goals in general. What are you hoping to get from strength training and why? Like, why is it that you want to do this? And that is something I think that is super important. I actually have a big flag out in my garage gym, real big, that just says, remember your why. I think that it's super important that we always kind of keep our why at the forefront, and your why might change over time too.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's okay. And that's kind of normal, I would think. But I think it's just a matter of keeping perspective, because sometimes things start to suck. You might not see
Mhm.
progress you're hoping to see. It might just be hard and maybe you don't want to, but being able to fall back on remembering why it is that you want to do this, I think is one of the things that can help keep you going. So when you are getting started on any kind of a journey like this, that's the first thing I like to do is figure out why. Is it
Mhm.
kids? Is it grandkids? A lot of my clients tell me it's about, they see their parents and their parents struggle and they don't want to be like that as they age. So it's about independence as we age. Maybe it's about like health markers from your doctor. Maybe it's, it could be a lot of things, but keeping in mind why. And I like to really lean in on the quality of life things with the why, not just I want to lose weight, but why. It's one of the things Sophia says all the time is get curious. So really get
Mhm.
curious about your desire to do this and cling to that. Write it down, put it somewhere. Back in the day when I started, as Pinterest was a big thing, I guess maybe people do still use it, but it's not quite as popular. But I had a Pinterest board of like inspirational quotes and all stuff that I would fall back on that helped me remember why I wanted to do this. Some people, you might put a sticky note on your mirror or, whatever. But I think that's important to keep at the forefront.
Yeah, and also I read a quote recently, a client sent it to me, and it was, I'm gonna pull it up and read it because this is something that you can always also kind of fall back on. But like for me too, I always like to peel back. I always say kind of peel back the layers of an onion. So whenever like you're talking about this and you say, okay, I want to lose weight or I want to have independence or I want to be able to do XYZ, keep asking why. Keep
Mhm.
asking why. Go deep. It is that deep. Get deep with yourself and keep asking why. Cause that's something that, yeah, when times get tough, when it gets hard, when you have a season where you maybe don't go to the gym as much or you feel like you're kind of losing yourself a little bit, that's when you can also go back to that
Yeah.
and even like noting how you feel after you work out or exercise. This says when exercise becomes more about how it makes you feel and less about how it makes you look, there's no going back. And I love that there's no going back because yeah, there's no going back
Yes.
when you get to that point. So,
Yep.
and it might take time and because if you want to lose weight, you're like, nope, don't care. I just want to lose weight. I want to get smaller.
Mhm.
I need my body to get smaller. But it's almost like you have to train and retrain your brain into this new way of thinking, which also takes time. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I think that's a good step
Yep.
number 1.
Love that quote. It's
Mhm.
so true. Oh my goodness, I love it. Okay, so then once we've established what we're doing this for, then what do you like to do next?
Well, I would say if you're not getting, if you don't have a gym, like you're not going to the gym, or maybe you want to work up to like so specifically this episode, we're going to talk about if you're not to the point of going to the gym
Mhm.
yet, or you don't have equipment, you want to work up to that. Totally okay, and like kind of building your confidence into going into the gym, which I think that'll be a different episode about confidence in the gym. But we have, and we talked about this before, like 5, 6, I don't know, different movement patterns,
Mhm.
right? So, with each of these movement patterns, there is a specific exercise or movement that is associated with it. And you can use your body weight. You'll talk about getting creative in the house, but we can use that to get started. And this is your foundation because you can always fall back on this.
Yep.
You can always choose one, two, three, all of them, whatever. And there are so many different variations of each of these that we can do. So I'm going to name them off. We got a squat, we got a hinge, I would say press, like overhead pressing, push, like push up or bench press, rowing, so pulling, and then I would even put in there core and grip strength almost, so like 5 to
Yeah.
7 different
Maybe
movement
even a
patterns.
carry too.
Yeah, that's yes, carry, yeah, mhm. That's kinda like where I would start with people is, like, thinking about the different movement patterns with that,
Mhm.
and as foundational as possible. We're doing a body weight box squat or a chair squat,
Yep.
and then going into a normal squat, slowing down the tempo. When it comes to a hinge, maybe it's a bridge, maybe it just depends on your fitness level
Mhm.
and things that you have available, but those are kind of the that's like a starting the next starting
Yeah,
point, I would say.
definitely. Just body weight only, and making sure that you're really solid with those movement patterns, because any exercises that you're going to build into over time, whether it's in a gym or you get at home equipment or whatever, when you start adding weight to these things, you want those movement patterns to be solid. So that's, when even when clients come to me, like the very first phase that they do is several weeks worth of basic movement pattern stuff. And we will like add weight to a lot of it, but there's also a lot of body weight in there. And it's mainly because they're there under my guidance and I can help them with that. But if you're at home without the guidance of someone, then, you want to take that slow in the beginning and just, you can watch lots of videos, on YouTube or whatever, and to learn like exactly what should a squat look like as I squat down to a chair? Like,
I
definitely
feel
would
like
start with the chair. Yeah, where should I feel it? What should it feel like? How does it look? I find that a lot of people don't get their hips back enough as they squat, and I have to kind of teach them to sort of sit into the squat as opposed to
mhm,
just bending the knees straight down. I don't know how to explain that, but that's something that I
that makes
see a
sense,
lot.
yeah,
It's almost like they're bringing their butt down between their heels rather than sitting back into it. So it's literally like sitting into a chair.
mhm,
And then a hinge, I find hinge to be very tricky for some people. That's one that, even with instruction, that's one that a lot of times requires really focused effort to master a good hinge,
yep,
because a lot of people tend to bend into a hinge. Like they don't push
mhm.
the hips back enough and they bend at the spine to get down rather than
I
foot
have a fun
back.
couple cues. What cues do you give to help people with hinging from the
Um,
hips?
I tell them to close the car door with their butt.
Mhm,
Or the kitchen drawer. And we'll also use, do you ever use the stick? I think I might have made a video about
yep,
this not too long ago, where you put the stick on head, upper back, and like tailbone. And
yep,
if you're pushing your butt back, that stick is going to stay like a broomstick or PVC pipe. It's going to stay touching all three of those points of contact. Whereas if you bend, it's going to come off at your tailbone.
yes,
So we like to use that so they can learn to feel it. But to just a speaking cue is, we always tell them, close the car door with your butt. You're just pushing it
yep,
shut. I'm over here. Can you
that's
see me? I'm doing it right now in my chair.
yes. That's a good that's what I say to people too. I thought there was one other one, I can't think of it right now, but yeah, it's pushing your like, push hips back and pushing the door shut with your butt. I used to say, and I don't say this anymore, but I used to say tailbone to sky, but I don't do that anymore because people will overarch their
Oh, right.
pelvis,
Yeah.
and so I can notice that if I overarch and I'm pushing tailbone to sky,
Hmm.
that's not great for the low back or the spine, so you still want that pelvis, like, tucked, but then, like, you can still
Yeah.
hinge, but so I don't say tailbone to sky, or if I do, just to get them to get the movement, then I'll kind of explain that
Yeah.
a little bit further, but yeah, that is one of the hardest movement patterns. That is the hardest movement pattern I've ever taught, I think, is
Yeah.
the hinge. And one thing that I tell people is you can't build on top of improper movement. That's why I actually
Yeah.
like working with beginners because a lot of times if they've been not taught the proper movement pattern, it's so
Hmm.
hard to change that.
Yeah.
So I like to say move well first, move better second. So you need to be able to establish that foundation so that way you're not improperly moving once we begin to add weight. Like if you don't know how to hinge properly and keep your back flat, spine flat, when you go into a bench over row, that's not going to be great for your back. You're not
Right.
going to be able to do those things. So we're taking it taking it slow to start so that way we can take it a little bit further as we
And
go.
then build. Yeah. And some other examples of hinges are like your deadlifts, Romanian deadlifts, any of that kind of stuff, if y'all are
Even a
familiar with
bridge
that.
is a good place to
A
start too.
bridge, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
floor
those are
bridge.
just examples of exercises that would use a hinge. So if a deadlift is something you really like to do, you gotta master the hinge movement first before
Mhm.
you can get to that point. And then we have, like, push-pull press. Mhm. What else do we say? Carry. So push would be like I mean, it literally is exactly what it sounds like. Anything that you're pushing. Bench,
Mhm.
if you're benching, you're pushing that weight away from you.
Or push up, pushing yourself away from the
Push-ups,
floor.
yeah, yeah, and then pulls would be and another thing I like to tell people, like, pushing oftentimes the majority uses front of your body, pulls mostly uses the back of your body.
Yeah.
So, rows, pull-ups, a deadlift is also a pull. So
Mhm.
it's activates the back of your body muscles as opposed to a push, which gets more the front of your body muscles.
Yep, and then also, so, like, a press normally is going, like, overhead, like, I think about
Mm,
overhead press, obviously,
mhm,
but there's different variations of that,
yeah,
and then I actually also do lunges with people, like, but I
mhm,
I mean, considered a form of a squat, I guess, like a split squat
yeah,
slash lunge, but that is a movement that we
mm,
do in everyday life, like when you're getting up and down off the floor. Sometimes you're kind of in that position as you get up, depending on how you get up, or bending down, whatever. But I think that's important too because
yeah,
it's for balance. Like balance is another modality, I guess, of exercise that is important to implement. And then the core, always working on core throughout each of these
mhm,
exercises, but you can do specific things for that, and then grip strength like a carry when
yeah,
if you have weights. So
yeah.
yeah,
And I think core, it's important to note too that core doesn't necessarily just mean your abs. And core doesn't
correct.
just mean like push ups, or I mean, it's sit ups, not push ups. Doesn't mean
Yeah.
like things like sit ups. There's a lot of other things that you could and should be doing that involve your whole core all the way around, not
Yes.
just your ab muscles. So that's important to note. Gosh, I had a thought and it left me.
It's happening to both of us.
Damn. Oh well, maybe it'll come back.
But yeah, I think that so body weight to start with, you can do body weight for all of these. I've had
Hmm.
clients start with, like even body weight overhead press or body weight like pull aparts, but what you're also teaching yourself is mind to muscle connection, and you're teaching
Yes.
yourself how to connect to your body as you're doing these. So that way, when weights come or when you start to do weights, you know how to engage those
Hmm.
muscles. Sometimes having weights helps to engage muscles and helps you
Yeah.
to feel it more, honestly,
Yeah.
but it's a good practice to put into place if you don't have anything. If someone doesn't have if they're ready for the next step, but they don't have weights, they don't have bands, like, what are
Yeah.
some creative ways that you
That's
tell
it.
them?
Like, in a perfect world, we can then move on to, like, resistance bands or dumbbells or whatever, but we learned a lot in COVID when people weren't able to get their hands on any weights because they got bought up so quickly, and so, like, with some of my clients, we did things like took a backpack and we filled it with books, and so that created, like, a weighted vest, and you can use that on the front of your body or the back of your body to do squats, so it's almost like a back squat or a front squat. You can walk with it even if you wanted to. You can do jumps, like there you can do pull-ups and push-ups, anything you can use that to add weight to nearly any exercise. And then we did things like you were talking about, like presses. Like we would start just like with bottles of water or canned soup or canned whatever, canned food products. And, we one of the things that we did that was fun was you'd finish a gallon of milk, like the clear plastic gallons, and you rinse it out real good, of course, like clean get all the milk out of it once it's empty, clean it out, and then you just fill it with water, and we hot glued the lid onto it, and that would create a roughly about an 8-pound weight. So you could have, like, one of those in each hand to do, like, hammer curls or whatever, or, your presses, or you can hold it like a goblet and do things like goblet squats. I mean, you can literally use that almost just like dumbbells. But yeah, that was some of the things that we did to get creative. Kitty litter, bags of dog
Oh,
food,
yeah.
any of that kind of stuff that you have where you can just add weight to your extra
Mhm.
your once you've mastered the body weight movements, you can add weight and without having to go spend more money.
Yeah, and think of each of these as because it's a skill, right? Like learning how to exercise, how to lift, it's a skill, so it's gonna take time to learn these things. You're literally God damn it.
Big on that.
Literally, r you're creating new neural pathways in your
Mhm.
brain, like, it's a new skill. It's just like if you were to go play basketball, but you've never played basketball before, you're gonna suck, it's gonna feel awkward, it's gonna feel
Yeah.
weird. I like to think about when I went and tried, it was like a karate type of class, not karate, it was maybe jujitsu or something,
Mm.
and I felt so out of
Oh,
place, it was frustrating, I was annoying, I sucked, I didn't know what I was doing, and I was like, "It's supposed to be what it feels like when someone's learning movement patterns or lifting."
yeah.
And so you have to allow yourself time to build up this skill. And so then once it's a skill, it becomes more and less about, again, like changing the shape of your body and more about just putting in the practice and patience. And then you don't have to rush through these. Maybe you choose one to work on each day and that's it. Maybe you choose a couple to work on each day and that's it. And then once you start to add weights, once you start to go to the gym, it's continuously like I'm still thinking about how I can better my skill of a
Mhm.
deadlift or a squat, whether it's slowing the movement down, adding weights, maybe it's like feeling it more in my muscles, right? So like it doesn't matter what level you're at, you can always apply that when you think about it as a skill.
Yeah, and I think to maybe that's a good time to mention, like, you're gonna get to a point where you're just practicing these things, like you said, like, 1 a day or whatever, but you're gonna ultimately get to a point where rather than just kinda willy-nilly picking things to do, you're gonna benefit a lot from having a structured program. And
Yes.
so that's written by a certified person. A lot of influencers are not and have never been certified, so be careful where you get your programs from. And, there's a lot of ways you can go about that, but there's a reason a lot of times why certain exercises are put together or,
Yes.
we want you to do things in a certain order. And so by being able to have a structured program to follow that's not just changing it up every single day. I know a lot of people like to get on Instagram and find like their favorite influencer and do whatever workout they just posted that week or whatever. That might be fun, but that's not really conducive to progress.
Yeah.
For progress, we want to be able to see growth and change and improvement over time, whether it's just mastering that movement pattern better, whether it's adding weight, maybe it's getting more range of motion, whether it's slowing down the tempo. Like there's a lot of ways that you can see progress, but if you're changing workouts week to week to week, or even every couple of weeks, you don't give yourself enough time to actually make progress on that particular thing. And that could definitely be to your detriment.
Yeah, and I think it's important to know too, like when you're especially when you're starting out or like even times in your life, sometimes like nothing, something is better than nothing. So if you
Hmm.
are winging it and if you are just like kind of doing whatever, like or learning things, that's okay. That's good. You're
Yeah.
still doing something. But
Yep.
yeah, like you said, like eventually it's gonna matter. And there is always like whenever I create my programs for people, for clients, there's always a reason behind it and
Yes.
purpose behind it. It's dependent on what the person's goal is, their level, what their the experience or not
Hmm.
experience, but what they've done, what they've done in the past, and, it's gonna be different, like, each program is gonna be different, and
Hmm.
so getting just, like, a generic workout plan or when you're just kinda winging it, there's not as much purpose behind it,
Yeah.
and so the way that you put it together, a workout matters, and there's so
Yes.
many ways to put together a workout,
Yeah.
so
Yep.
many different ways.
Absolutely. There's no, yeah, there's definitely no one right or wrong way. Like a lot of people
I
and
think there can be a wrong way,
well, yeah, definitely could be a wrong way. That's a hell
but,
of a
like,
point.
it
You're right,
depends.
you're right.
Yeah.
But there is no one right way. How's that?
Yes.
And and it matters too, like how many days a week you feel like you can successfully dedicate. So like amount of time that you feel like you can give to this consistently. And if you're just starting out, don't give me this I want to do this 5 6 days a week thing. We got to start slow and build up. So maybe it is just 1 day a week, maybe it's 2 or 3 days a week, but maybe it's only 15 or 20 minutes at a time. Maybe, and any of that is absolutely fine. Any movement is good movement. But I think it's super important to be really honest with yourself and with if you do have someone creating programs for you, the person who's creating it, be very honest about it so that they can develop the best program for you based on like those parameters. And you can always add more later.
And it creates empowerment, like, it's so cool
Yeah.
to see the progress that you have,
Hmm.
whether it's form or whether you can feel it better or, like, your over time, you look and see, "Oh, I increased reps or I increased my weight." Like, it's so cool to see that, and you're just setting yourself up for success because then you're feeling these wins, you're seeing these wins, and
Yeah.
there's progress along the way that you notice and that you can do and so, like, I usually do, like, every 6 to 8 weeks, probably 8 weeks with people, to be honest,
Hmm.
because
That's
yeah,
what I
like you
do.
said, you have to give your time body You have to give you have to give your body time to adapt and to
Yes.
give yourself time to learn week 1 when I tell my people, week 1, you're learning the new workout program, we're
Mhm.
establishing the proper weight to use, like, we're just kind of experimenting this first week, getting used to it, maybe even into the second week, and then it's like, "Okay, week 3, 4, 5, it's go time." Like, we're trying to get better with form, reps, or weight.
Mhm.
Progress in some
Yep.
capacity.
Yeah, we pretty much do the exact same thing. Most of my blocks are 8 weeks. I think the only ones I have that are 6 weeks are, like, my pre and postnatal just because there's so much changing during that time. We don't let it go
Yeah.
quite as long. But for pretty much everybody else, except for, I guess, my power lifters, that's a whole different animal because that's sport specific. That's not, like, general health. Everybody does 8 weeks and we do the exact same thing. It's like the first week, it's just, what the hell am I doing? And how
Yep.
much weight should I do on this if I've never done it before and whatever. And like you said, first, even maybe second week too, it might be that because you
Mhm.
might get to it the second week and go, I don't remember because you've
Yep.
only done it once and that's okay. And so then, we remember. And then usually by week 3, we're coasting and now we're looking at making progress until the end of the phase.
Yes. So then, okay, if someone's listening and they're like, "All right, so I'm gonna work my way up to getting to the gym,"
Hmm.
and you guys have told me all of these movement patterns, you've shared exercises, things like that. What do I do now? Like, if someone is still like, "What do I do? What's my next step?"
What do we do? So if are we so they have they started doing the things that we've told them about yet or not yet?
Well, I think,
They're
like,
just
so just to
learning.
give, like, clear direction, not direction, but, like, guidance on, okay, we have these movements. We've even said, doing 1 or 2 every now and then or doing all of them. But how can they, like, I want them to feel confident in
Mm,
what they're gonna do. So let's give maybe, like, an example plan. If we had someone come in and
okay.
they're like, what would I mean, there's different ways. It depends on the person,
Yeah.
depends on their life, all of those things. But let's give, like, an example so that way they can kind of either follow that or change it
Yeah.
however they need.
I think one of the things that I find pretty successful, especially for people just new to it, and especially if we're only able to dedicate 1 or 2 days a week to it, is to create a full body plan. And I would go back to those movement patterns. So you can literally create a plan where you're doing a squat, you're doing a hinge, you're doing a push, a pull, a press, whatever else, maybe a carry. I can't remember what else you said.
I'll put them in the
And
show notes. I'll
oh,
list them
yeah,
in the
that'd be
show
great.
notes. Yeah.
So if you create a plan where you choose one exercise that incorporates each of those, or at least the most of those movement patterns, I personally, I feel like within the week, you need to make sure you've hit them all. So maybe if you can do 2 days, maybe you split it and you do like
Mhm.
push, pull, press on one day and you do squat, hinge, carry on another day, or, whatever it might be. And so you can take those movement patterns, take yourself on over to the Google, and you can say what exercises incorporate a squat, what exercises incorporate a hinge, and look for what
Mhm.
you feel like you can successfully do. And like I said, you can watch YouTube videos on form and things like that and kind of start to create a little bit of a plan for yourself until you're ready to take the next step and get a dedicated plan for yourself.
Yeah, and then also, like, this is gonna help build confidence. So in a future episode, we're gonna talk about confidence in a gym,
Mhm.
but this will help you to start to build confidence in going to the gym because you have perfected these, not perfected, but you have worked on and practiced these movement patterns so that way you can build from there when you start to incorporate cables, dumbbells, barbells, kettlebells, all of those
Yep.
things. So, yeah, I would say twice a week, full body is a good place to start. Or, like you said, twice a week, one upper, one lower,
Mhm.
or choosing 1 or 2 exercises to do each day. And that's it.
Yeah.
You can do that too.
Yep.
Like, yeah, it's so hard to give like a specific because I don't know, like, what does your day look like? How
Yeah.
much time do you have? What is your like what do we need to work
Exactly.
on? So it's really hard to give like that specific, but I think just the movement patterns in
Yeah.
itself is a good place. That is like the place to
Agreed.
start.
Agreed. And I think other parts of this kind of going along with it, but kind of outside of this is just once you start, make sure you're doing things like prioritizing your recovery. You want to make sure you're drinking lots of water. You want to make sure you're eating your protein. You can put carbs around your workout before and after. You can make sure you're getting good sleep, all of that kind of stuff to make sure. Because you might, especially if you're brand new to it, you might be sore as hell that next day. And it makes you be like, I don't want to do that again. That hurt. But if you can get good habits around your recovery, then you can help not necessarily alleviate it when it happens, but help maybe mitigate some of it a little bit, I guess. And
Yeah.
getting in good because again, once you start building up and adding more and more weight, recovery becomes more and more and more important as you go.
Mhm. Yes, for sure. Yeah. So, great starting point, but then you can always fall back on this. We can
Yeah.
build from here. This is a part of that
I
foundation.
had a thought.
What?
Sorry, I totally interrupted you.
It's
When
okay.
you said you can always fall back on it, in my brain, I went back to like, yep, just like when I was doing cancer treatment, I did. One of the things too that I think is important that we didn't mention, or maybe we did, but I missed it, is single leg work. So
Oh, yeah,
you
that's a
kind of
great yes,
mentioned lunges.
variations,
I think
yes.
that's what I was going to say earlier, and I was like, I can't remember. But like you mentioned lunges, even like split squats, like single leg and single arm stuff
Yeah,
is super. It helps prevent imbalances, and it can really make like a split squat is still a squat, but it's going to be a whole lot harder because most of the weight is only on one leg now versus two. And
yes.
so incorporating things like that, and that's what made me think of it because when I wasn't able to hold any more than 10 pounds, I was like doing like Bulgarian split squats and some things like that just to, and at a really slow tempo, like really slow down,
Yeah,
pause at the bottom, really slow up. You can really make these even just body weight exercises much more difficult if you don't have equipment at home
mhm.
by changing them up into single leg.
Yeah, asking, "Okay, how can I make this harder?"
Mhm.
And if it is going single leg, slowing down the tempo, like, so be it. That is a
Yeah.
great way to do that. Yeah, so I will put a list in the show notes of these basic movement patterns, but then also, like, a couple of variations or just noting, like, you can do single leg stuff, single arm stuff, like, that's
Mhm.
part of the very alternating different things, like, or doing one side at a time and then the other side. Yeah, so I'll
Yeah.
put together, like, a basic list of
Perfect.
things that they can go and check out.
Perfect. And then I think finally the last thing I would say is make sure you're looking for non-scale victories. And that's what I
Mhm.
remember I said in the
Always.
beginning. I was like, "I'm gonna come back because I have a thought on that. I'm gonna come back to what you
Oh,
said in the
yes.
very beginning." That's what it would be, is always be looking for those victories. Look for improved form. Look for, "Oh, I'm not as sore anymore as I used to be." Look for, "I don't get itchy when I walk now," or,
Yes.
what all that stuff is. Like, there's all those little things. I can get up and down off the floor better than I could before, or I'm not getting winded when I'm chasing my dog around,
Mhm.
all those things that are so important to quality of life that may not be represented on a scale, but are far more important than what the scale says.
Yeah. Scale don't mean shit.
Yep. All
Alright.
right.
That's that.
Hey, look at us
Hell
in an hour again. Guys, we're
yeah.
on
I
to
know,
something
58
here.
minutes this time, hell yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
don't
Well,
forget to, let us know if you have any questions, if this helped you in any capacity, any way, and, share it to your stories if you think
yeah,
that this was helpful or if the podcast is
please.
helpful at all.
Yeah.
UBOBpod on any social media, and you can email us at ubobpod@gmail.com if you have feedback, questions, topics you want us to go over.
Maybe we can mention too, this episode is because of a message that we got on
Oh, yeah,
Instagram
it is.
requesting this topic. So we really do
Yes.
listen, we hear what you're saying, and we want to do what's going to be helpful. And this episode is a perfect example of that. So
Yes,
hope
and
to
then
hear
we're
from
we're
y'all.
gonna do a follow-up episode talking because she also asked about confidence in the gym, so
Yep.
this will be a whole other episode, but, yeah, we're doing it because that's what someone wanted to hear, so we're gonna follow up with that, so let us know.
All right,
Okay,
guys. Hope you have a great
alright,
day.
bye for now.
Bye.